Hey guys, what's going on? Coach Andrew here. I am at the park. I'm about to do a 3-mile run, and I really don't want to. So I've been training for Ironman for about a week now. I plan on running an Ironman within the next year and a half. This is probably the second video in that series. But this week I've already done 20.5 miles of training, and my legs hurt, and I'm still not quite conditioned for this yet, so it's a struggle. And today I just had some brain fog, and I just don't feel like running. But the truth is, a lot of your days are going to feel like this, and a lot of days you're going to have to wake up and do stuff that you don't feel like doing. It doesn't really matter what your goals are, or what it is you're training for, or what it is you do, but you're going to be confronted with this eventually. I'm sure many of you already have, plenty of times. And my best advice for being in this kind of situation is to just remember the simple truth that happiness follows in the wake of action. Happiness follows in the wake of action. Because it's important to remember that doing things that are super easy, doing things that aren't challenging, things that don't take any effort, is not satisfying. It is not conducive to human growth. It does not provide a sense of achievement, progress, fulfillment, or growth. And it is not what fuels us and pushes us to get better, and it's not what creates happiness. Happiness is created by a sense of fulfillment, a sense of purpose. And you do that by having large goals and taking small steps every day to get closer to them. And on the days when things are hardest, those are the days when you have the greatest sense of growth. You also get the greatest sense of growth on days when you make the most progress. And generally, doing small, tiny little things that might not seem like too big of a deal, consistently, especially on days when you don't feel like it, is what builds up and compounds over time and eventually leads to those days where you have breakthrough moments, where you've done so much little work in the last couple weeks, months, days, that finally the next domino tips over. Something finally builds up enough to the point where it can explode, and you have an epiphany and you realize something. You realize that everything you've been doing up to this point led you here, right? It finally got you to the next level, and that's what we call a milestone. And milestones are super, super important for keeping your journey fresh and making sure that you're still interested and that you're still making significant progress. Because you see, the journey to accomplishing a big goal is paved with the little teeny tiny steps that you take every single day, the small tiny little actions that build up to create a milestone. And then the milestones are like the chapters in the book, right? The chapters that lead up to the conclusion, which is the final achievement. So in my case, I'm a 210-pound powerlifting strength coach with 13.5% body fat, and I'm trying to run an Ironman triathlon, which is 140.6 miles. The most I've ever run in one go is probably 8 miles. So I got a ways to go. And the other day, 3 miles almost killed me. I'm still sore, and I'm about to do it again. But every day, I'm training. I'm training on the bike. I'm swimming. I'm running. I'm walking. I'm doing weightlifting every now and then just to try to maintain muscle mass. Those are the tiny, meaningful little steps that are going to lead to positive changes in my body composition, decreases in my run time, improvements in my running form and my swimming form. And those are the meaningful little tasks and things that add up to a milestone. And my first milestone is going to be a half marathon later this year. And then after that, the next milestone is a full marathon, and then a half Ironman, and then eventually the final chapter, a full Ironman. And I know that if I just trust the process and do the work, it'll happen. So that's all I've got for today, folks. I'm just gonna run my 3 miles. I've got a good audiobook I'm gonna listen to, and That's my little message for today. So whatever your goal is, whatever journey you're starting right now, just remember, it's the tiny steps. The tiny steps are what get you there, right? You don't do milestones in a day. You do tiny steps every single day. Just trust the process and you'll get there, all right? Let me know in the comments what your goal is, what you're training for, why you're watching this series, and what you're struggling with the most. And we'll talk about it. You can follow me on my journey. But that tree up there, that tree right up there at the bend, that's where I start running. So I'm gonna plug in my headphones. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Take care.